I'm Evan Harris, and I've built my practice my way. I'm the president of Harris Financial Services in Whitefish, Montana. I'm a financial advisor. I've been in the industry almost 10 years now. I got my start with a firm in the Seattle area, and then about 4 or 5 years ago, took over my dad's practice in Montana. And so I've been the president and the business owner here for about 4 or 5 years now. I had grown up in an LPL office, or my dad's office was an LPL office, so that was something that I knew and was very comfortable with. Very fortunate that the firm I started with right out of college was also an LPL office. That was just a very natural fit. So the first time that I heard about CFO Solutions was actually in the fall of 2018. I attended an Accelerate conference that LPL hosted. It was in kind of the second half of 2019 or so. I started recognizing that we were on a growth track that was going to start outpacing my knowledge and my ability to start handling it myself. So because we were on that growth track, I just said, man, I need some help. What initially drew me to them was recognizing that I needed to grow my staff. So I was looking at bringing someone on board, and I was looking at the financials and trying to figure out, how do I start to organize this in a way, not as a small business, but starting to move more toward an enterprise, kind of a medium-sized business, if you will. And again, realized I was outside of my element there. So that really kicked off the relationship, if you will. And we've done dozens of things since then. I'm so fortunate that when I took over this practice from my dad, he was very supportive in every step that I've taken throughout this. He built this business from the ground up. I tell him all the time, and I like to tell other people, I'm standing on the shoulders of a giant. We started with a practice that was built from his hard work, and he took it as far as he could go as a single advisor. And so now with multiple advisors on board and my knowledge in business management, that was the catalyst for us to start moving forward into a new arena there. And he just, from day one, he's always been very supportive.
Kian Salahizadeh, and I'm an AVP of Finance with LPL. I've been in the industry for about 16 years now. I've had a pretty diverse background, and I'm fortunate to have had experience in a variety of different areas within the financial industry, including working with financial advisors in previous roles, both from the broker and custodian side and actually directly on their teams. There's a very collaborative culture within our CFO Solutions team, even just from the very beginning with some of the training and so on. We have a network of a support network of a few analysts and senior analysts who help us with really putting together a lot of the Excel analysis that goes into the conversations and implementing of the initiatives and so on.
Kian had a great process, being able to say, all right, we're going to sit down and look at goals. And we looked at short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals for the business. And then he just built out a roadmap. And he said, okay, we're going to meet a month from now. We're going to talk about these. And we're going to meet, a month after that, we're going to talk about these. And 2 weeks after that. And so then we started getting into a rhythm and a cycle, being able to work together on those goals. And so it was, right from the get-go in spring of 2020, we just went. One thing that's a challenge for me as a business owner is that I'm very busy all the time. I have times where I have my financial advisor hat on and I have to be an advisor. Other times I have to be an investment manager, and then I have to be a business owner. And so it can get so easy to get caught up doing all of those things that I'm continually working in the business and not working enough on the business. My expectations going into this were really that I would get someone to sort of take a look at the financials. That was really kind of all I knew about a CFO, is, they deal with the financials. And so I didn't really know what to expect other than I can try this and we'll see what insights I get. And if I hate it, I can always stop, right? That was kind of my initial thought going into it. And my expectations have been blown out of the water in a good way. My initial questions were, I was looking at things like how much cash should I keep in the business? And what should staffing levels look like? How do I budget? CFO Solutions helped me to expand that scope. So we were looking at things like, how do you organize your client service levels? And how do you think about profitability for different groups of your clients? And they did a wonderful analysis for me. I'll tell you about it later, but they did this wonderful analysis for me where we looked at our service model, our revenue model, and we've been looking at all these ways to change that. And not just to make the business more profitable, but easier to manage, setting ourselves up for better referral sources within our client base. Even just knowing how much cash I should have in the business. We were fortunate, again, profitability was doing great. And as a business grows, so do its cash needs. And I had never done that before. I'd never been to that level, as a business owner, and being able to work with Kian to say, hey, what framework should we use to think about cash in a healthy way? And when I think about our revenue model, we've been moving more and more toward advisory over the years. And that's another thing that we worked with on CFO Solutions, was identifying additional clients that we could have under advisory. And so we've kind of been moving that direction. So working with CFO Solutions has allowed me it's transformed my revenue model. It's transformed my budgeting process and my planning process for the upcoming year. It's transformed the way that I think about staff and operations. We've completely changed our system here. And all of that is a response to the knowledge and the empowerment that I get just from knowing more about my business. I mean, if I had to summarize the role that CFO Solutions has played in that, it would be organization. I feel like my business is so much more organized and structured than it used to be, because all of its organization and structure before CFO Solutions, all of its organization and structure was based on my knowledge. And now that I have Kian and I have CFO Solutions speaking into that, I just feel so much more organized, and it's allowing us to hit new highs as a business.
Doing a deep dive of Evan's book of business, looking at the client breakdown, figuring out how we want to structure the client service model to really address each of the different tiers of clients appropriately, and what level of service they need, what level of attention, to free up Evan's time. And that's also been key, because we've had several other offshoots or secondary use cases for that initiative that have led to other great things that we're still planning to dive into in 2021.
It takes all of these intuitive thoughts that I have as a business owner, and it allows me to run it through someone that can put a quantitative yes or no, thumbs up or thumbs down. Adding a new team member, overhauling the client service model, looking at new tech. Tech is another great example. We ended up making like a $10,000 investment in technology last year as a response to COVID. And so I was able to run that through Kian and be like, hey, Kian, just checking, is this okay, right? Before I go spend this money, is that cool?
We've had a few big wins. One of them primarily would be just helping nudge Evan, kind of past some of the hurdles or obstacles with some of the decisions he's been wanting to make with the business. And some of the hesitancy that he's had with a few of those things, which are definitely understandable. A lot of business owners go through that. So that's where we've come in, just helping to make decisions regarding expenditures, implementing some benefits for the team, hiring new team members. One of our biggest initiatives that we worked on together was just a complete overhaul of the client service model for the firm. Evan and I have developed that great understanding over the months. I've really gotten to get a real, deep understanding and, picture of how his practice operates specifically. And so that way, when we're doing our analysis, we can tailor it more to the setup that he has in place versus just making it kind of a cookie cutter type of endeavor with everyone.
What's on the docket? We're actually really going overboard. We're going to finish out our new client service model. We're rolling that out to clients here this month. We're going to be adding My Rep Chat. We're texting with clients. We're looking at adding secure file upload, Schedule Once, being able to use technology to allow our clients to engage with us more, and we can engage with them more easily and more effectively. It's actually looking to bring on another advisor to our staff as well. As we continue to grow, we need to make sure we have the staff to continue serving clients well. And we're even at the point now where we're starting to think about acquisition and starting to think about how do we take over other practices in the area. It's an aging industry, and so there are advisors looking for a succession plan, and we want to set ourselves up to be that succession plan.
Working with Evan has been great for the past almost 10 months now. I enjoy just getting to know the different advisors within the LPL network. One of the things especially about Evan is that he does have a great understanding, overall of how the practice is working and all that. So it makes it even more fruitful when we're having conversations about looking at the financial reports and analyzing forecasts and whatever else it might be. But the program's been out for more than a couple of years now, and one of the things that LPL does a great job of is just soliciting feedback from advisors and from employees. Not necessarily every advisor might want to have the full CFO solutions experience. Some of them potentially might just want bookkeeping, or some of them might want the recurring reports that we put together that they can't easily get otherwise, but they don't necessarily need to speak with the CFO every 2 weeks.
Do I recommend CFO solutions? Yes, absolutely I do. I went into this kind of skeptical, thinking, if I hate this, I can always get out of it. And I would go so far to say that the money I've spent on CFO solutions it's paid back fivefold in the 9 months that I've been working with CFO solutions, which is huge.